Welcome to Pitch Your Startup, presented by Innovate. I'm your host, Bob Shammy. We're delighted to have our special guest today, Duke Moran. Duke, pleasure to have you on the show, my friend, and who is the co-founder of Tuttii. I love the name. It's so easy. It just flows.
That's the idea. Thanks for having
Yes,
me.
my pleasure, man. Listen, a lot to talk about, but you know what? I'm going to hand you the mic. So please tell us about Tuttii and what got you really down that path or that rabbit hole to innovate Tuttii, and but a bit about your background and what got you to this point.
Yeah. So I guess first of all, 2D, it's sort of a play on words. So it actually means bringing multiple voices together. So it's the idea is that it's the opposite of a solo. So we thought it played perfectly for our music creation app. How 2D came about is a few years ago, I was shadowing a cohort of founders in an accelerator called Play for Tomorrow, just learning how to take an idea out of the clouds and sort of start to build and ideate and bring something to market. And I was producing sort of like soundtracks for videos and for other projects and websites and things like that. And I realized that this is something I'm passionate about, and I'm already sitting in these like entrepreneurial rooms or situations. So I thought, let's try to combine the two. So I have a co-founder who I've partnered with on for everything, and we started teaching music production lessons in the East Bay. We're here in San Francisco Bay Area, so in the East Bay, to really understand what these kids liked and what they didn't like. And the idea was, let's give them tons of meaningful choices in the areas that they actually care about. Everything else, let's just automate it so they don't even have to think about it. Months went by and the lessons were unsuccessful. It was really hard to get these kids to actually learn how to draw in MIDI notes or create drum loops, that they can layer some things on top of. So after a while, we kind of had a Hail Mary and we decided, let's just remix two popular songs that are on TikTok right now. And that was Mood by 24K Golden and Dynamite by BTS. And so we sort of curated the audio files, sent them over. They loaded them into their DAW, or they were using Bandlamp at the time. We told them to click the transposition button a few times so that the keys were matching, to hit the BPM button a few times so that the BPMs were matching. Just really simple changes. And then when they clicked play, it sounded great together. And then just based off of their reaction, we knew we had something. So we continued to test that idea across large groups of folks. And we got the same reactions from a bunch of different age groups. So that was really our golden nugget. At that time, we were 6 or 7 months in. We decided, okay, let's raise some money. Let's start building and make the best remix machine we possibly could. So then fast forward about a year and we had these prototypes and we're talking to more people about this. We realized that remixing became or has become one of the top audio assets in all of music because of
Correct.
their top performances across all of the social channels. So the format or the function of music has changed with this new type of engagement with these consumer creators. So instead of listening to 3-minute songs that are more long form, you want 15 to 60-second song clips that are really engaging and it's going to retain your audience. And so it's serving a new purpose. I think 80% of the top sounds right now across all socials are actually remixes. And so there's no good way for, those billions of creators that are making content to actually make music to fit their posts or their videos, even though they're already using, the remixes available. So we thought, let's marry the two, this remix machine that we have, let's build it for creators and go to market. So that's what we're doing at Tuttii.
Wow, amazing. So Tuttii basically is the newest and the latest kind of AI tool available for, as you said, the consumers are the new creators, are the new stars. The listeners or the followers, they became the creators, which is
Yep.
absolutely 100% true. I seen that also on your LinkedIn, header. It says that, and I said I'm going to mention that because it's very true. So Tuttii is the newest and latest, again, I'll say, remixing tool for creators to use. And
That's
is it
right.
used more on social media, like the generated content kind of section, in that, or is it used by producers, used by labels?
Right. So a little bit of both. So our big target market are all of the folks that are creating content online, like short form TikToks and Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, things like that. Or all social media for that matter. And so we've built the tool with them in mind. Kind of our northern star here was CapCut. Are you familiar with CapCut?
Yes, I've
So
been
it's,
on
it's one of
TikTok,
the most
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's one of the most successful mobile editors ever created.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to develop Tuttii in a way where there's like a familiar workflow, and so the way that you stack your assets and how you edit things, all those features look similar to CapCut, so that we're not really surprising anybody. And sort of that ramping period is sort of smoothened out. But then we've done some early shadow marketing to understand kind of who these target market is, right? Their demographics and psychographics and how we're going to acquire them as users. And we found that people that already understand music production love the tool just because it's so simple and powerful. So you can make some really cool remixes pretty quickly and not have to sort of navigate the world of like copyright licenses and things like that. But then also we're talking with some of the larger DJs out there, and they're excited about the tool for a number of different reasons. One is they can spice up their sets so that they're in between shows or on the plane or they're kind of bouncing around between venues. They can quickly make some cool remixes that they can just export and use during live performances. We also color code all of the songs. And so if, let's say, an artist has a new song out, they can add it to the project, go into our library of music, and quickly find good remix options and ideas to use with their original asset. So we found that they're most likely going to be our early power users. But then sort of in the long tail, we do want to capture the creator market because it's obviously just a much bigger space.
See, Duke, you mentioned something. You said our library, music library. You
Mm-hmm.
guys also have your own music library.
That's right. So we found pretty early on that users are going to churn pretty quickly if they aren't able to access songs that they know and love. So we have copyright free catalogs of music, and then we've also partnered with a bunch of number of indies. But it's really important for us to get the majors as well because we feel like long term that's going to keep people coming back. So it's the Warners and the Sonys of the world and the Universals, as well as like trending sounds that are already on these platforms. So partnering with the TikToks and the YouTubes of the world to actually try to bring in those like trending sounds as well. So yeah, that's where we just closed Spirit Music Group. So they were like sort of the first big licensing deal that we've done, and there's a number of others that we're super close with. So by the time that we launch in May, we're expecting to have a catalog of around 4 million songs that are all sort of premier and popular.
Amazing. So you're really kind of adding a new stream of revenue for artists and creators. A
Mhm.
lot of artists complaining about it, a lot of the streaming platforms out there, the DSPs are not generating the type of money that or they're not getting paid the money that they deserve to get paid. And
Mhm.
all, so you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to come up with an idea that the public will use. A lot of the users out there, the self-generated content, they want certain songs to go for their video to go viral and all of that. But also, on the other hand of it, you're also adding to the pie. You're empowering artists to say, hey, here's a new stream of revenue from remixes, even if it's a 20-second remix. But if it goes viral and it's going to get played millions of times out there, or hundreds of thousands or millions of times, you're going to get royalties on it.
Yep, that's exactly right. So we think of ourselves as the connective tissue between the music industry and the creators because both of them want this. It's just really hard to put all of the pieces together. Licensing is probably the toughest piece. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So it's all net new revenue. So it sits on top of all the sort of existing revenue channels, and and the labels absolutely care about that. But I don't want to name specifics here. But one of the majors basically told us we don't care about that as much as the exposure and growth that
They
comes
will.
from.
They
Yeah,
will.
yeah, I
They will.
agree. I agree.
They
I
will.
agree.
It's a matter of
Um,
time. You just stay tight. They'll come to you.
Exactly. And listen, it's there's a few things that we're doing there. We're actually generating data. So we were fortunate enough to just be talked about in Billboard, which is like, exciting for anybody that's in music. But we've recently partnered with SoundCloud to
Amazing.
sort of create these API like data sharing systems so that when we create a remix on our platform and it gets shared to SoundCloud, they know exactly who the artists are that were included in the remix, how to show proper attribution in the app, how to pay royalties out properly, kind of on the back end based on usage. So we're solving a few problems there. But what some of these majors are basically saying to us is we're really excited to integrate 2D into our new release strategies. So when the artists are coming out with new songs, they'll be on our platform and they'll also be available. This is, we're having these discussions now, but they would be available to all of our freemium users because they're not necessarily thinking about the revenue on day one, but more so, hey, it'd be a really good thing if
Yeah.
we had tons of creators making remixes with this new song. Now they're, shared and to the top social channels. They're being used in all of these contents, or these videos that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are seeing. And that would and then with the proper attribution that we were just talking about, so their names are right there and the users can all see them and click them and go back to their social channels and understand really who these audience are. You're capturing like a whole new group of people that can, convert into fans and more streams and ticket sales and things like that. So solving those problems are really important to them as well. And, we're doing all that we can to meet them halfway.
Does Tuttii get involved in royalties on paying? No. Basically, Tuttii is a tool, but where it's used at, then and being wherever it's being shared at, that's whoever the platform is, that's the one that handles all of that.
Totally. So there's something really important, I guess, to think about there. These aren't derivatives, right? Or these aren't like new official works that are going out to the music ecosystem. So you can't go throw these up on Spotify. You can only go to user-generated content platforms,
social media,
TikToks and social media, exactly.
Yes.
And so we have no ownership over the songs. There's no new ISRCs created or song identifiers created. This is all just user-generated content. So what we're doing is we can auto-generate reports, share them with the labels and the social channels, and basically say, hey, here are all these audio assets that came from us. If there are any usage, right, on these platforms that convert to revenue, here's the rev share back to the rights holders and things like that, but we don't get involved.
Is Tuttii available on TikTok?
So it is right now. It's a standalone.
Standalone.
There are, so we're launching in May, so we really want to be laser focused on that launch.
Got it.
But there's some sort of obvious B2B plays, and so we're building out an SDK on the back end. We're already talking with, festivals to potentially integrate with festival apps. We're talking to DJ platforms where we can embed our tech straight into their sort of editing features, and so their users can have access to Tuttii and kind of manipulate songs on those platforms. And there's a few others, so that could very well be a possibility down the road. But we're focusing on doing one thing well before we get distracted with anything else.
But you said you already have a deal with SoundCloud.
We do. Mm-hmm. So the deal with SoundCloud is so that we're working on the data sharing system so that there's attribution and royalty payouts. They're both 100% accurate. And then, there's totally a world where we can embed Tuttii into their platform as well. We're already on their benefits program. So when you go on and you're reading through what you get as a user, you'll see us and our name in there and things like that.
And when a user access Tuttii, would they access your music catalog or your music bank catalog, or would they use whatever's available on SoundCloud?
So they would access our catalog. So the catalog that's on Tuttii has been approved for on-platform remixing and off-platform sharing to these approved platforms. So there's no user uploaded audio. Nobody can go. If you're an artist and you want your song on our platform, it's got to go through a main distribution channel.
So if I'm a creator and on YouTube or on Shorts or Instagram Reels or on TikTok, and I want to create my own sounds, my own remixes of certain songs that I love, I'll go to your platform. I'll go to Tuttii, see what they have there. If some of the songs I really love available, and I can create my own viral sounds to go with my viral videos.
Yep, exactly. So right now, I think CapCut has 800 monthly active users, or 800 million monthly active users. The idea is that those folks can now film their content, go to CapCut, edit the video, come right to Tuttii, make the perfect remix to match that video, and then we're already integrated, with like TikTok, YouTube, SoundCloud, Snapchat, and a few of these platforms. You click send, you click share on our platform, it takes you directly to their UI.
Amazing. So you don't even have to leave the platform. It goes right away.
Exactly. Yep,
Lovely.
exactly.
What a great idea. Amazing. Adding more, I would say adding more power to the independent artists and major artists, more ways of generating revenue. And that's what the industry need, more ways of generating revenues. As you said, one side is really kind of not fair and it's going down. Amazing.
Yep, exactly. The revenue is one thing for sure, and then the growth and exposure as well.
Okay.
It's kind of the side of the coin.
Quick questions about Tuttii. So is the app available? You said we haven't launched yet. You're going to launch in May, correct?
Yep.
So the app is not available yet. If
we have a private beta. We have a private beta. So as long as you have an iOS device, you can access the beta and start testing and playing.
Amazing. And in May, it's going to be available on both iOS and Android?
Yes. So right now, put it this way, we're building on one because it's obviously, you don't want to make
Yes.
changes to both. And so there's a world where when we launch, and when we say May, I just want to say that's like our current target. Things change. But
Always.
let's say we're doing a summer launch, just to kind of set expectations. It's the idea that Android will be available or it will be soon, and we'll move pretty quickly to get that platform stood up.
Now, what's the, if you don't mind me asking, you guys have it in plan already, or is it set? How does the user come in? Is it a monthly subscription? Is it a fee? Is it
Mhm.
free to use? What's
Mhm.
the
So it's free to use, and then you'll get access to our copyright free catalog. It's still great music with real artists. It's just not the top 50 songs that you'll know and love. You can buy credits for 99 cents. You get 4 credits. Each credit allows you to add one stem, or one audio track to keep things simple. And then once you're ready to make the buying decision, you can subscribe to get full access to our entire catalog.
quick question? Your remixing platform made it easier to use and available for all users out there of all ages, anywhere in the world, simple to use. Is your remixing platform Tuttii? Is it able to separate stems, audio,
Hmm.
vocals, and all of that? So it's also includes that. So let's say there's a song I like in your catalog, whether it's classic or new, and I found it, and I'm like, wow. So I'm able to separate and really
Hmm.
create, how should I say, a legitimate remix, not just a remix
Totally.
from a vocal and music together already, like a finished song. I'm able to separate that
Hmm. So by the time the audio is available on our platform, it's fully separated. You
automatically.
can, yep, automatically. So we've built a system on the back end. I don't want to get into it too much. It's kind of our secret sauce.
No, no, sorry, but you're not
But
using
it's
somebody else's platform. You know what I'm talking
no, no,
about.
yeah, no, yeah.
You,
Well, the first part is the actual stem separation. We're using Audio Shake. So shout out
okay,
Audio Shake. They're the absolute
okay.
best. You're probably familiar
Jessica
with
at
them.
Audio Shake, she's always
Jessica,
there.
oh yeah,
Always there.
yeah.
She's always
No,
there. Amazing.
she's the
Yes.
best. She's
Yeah.
absolutely the best, and everyone knows it. I mean, they have an incredible platform.
Yeah.
But then from there, it starts to use our system. So we built an ML system on the back end to help us identify certain things and extract certain metadata, from the audio files that'll trigger all the music production events on the back end. It gets a little bit more granular for certain things that we need. And so, yeah, so then by the time that the WAV files go through that automated system, it's in our client database on the back end. Our user can start to access those. So what it kind of looks like today is, let's say you have I don't want to name names here, but artist A and artist B, you can drag the vocal of artist A onto the top track, the instrumental from artist B onto the bottom track. When you click play, let's say they're both choruses, it doesn't matter. When you click play, it sounds professionally produced, like that song meant to be together. Um, and then, those features, we'll start to expand on those features as we grow.
Amazing. Well, this is amazing. I'm glad you told us all the. You haven't given us the recipe or the secret sauce, but at least how it works. I appreciate sharing all of that with us.
That's right.
Yes, it's amazing. Hey, that's what we hear. That's why a lot of other platforms are there, so everybody could benefit and work together. What Audio
Right.
Shake created, what you created, it just all comes together.
Hmm.
And that's what the music business should be, and it should be about, not gatekeeping and holding the keys and not let. No, it's about helping each other, uplifting each other, because we
That's
are at a
right.
time right now we need that.
Hmm.
Quick
Absolutely.
question: are you the only founder, or there's other founders involved with you, Duke?
Yep, I have one co-founder, Troy Skinner. We met at Cal. It's kind of a funny story, but we were actually the worst players on the club hockey team, and so we bonded over that. And he, he's an incredible producer. He's got 20 million streams across platforms. Has released music on indie labels, and so I brought him in to actually help me with my music production skills. And the music I was creating was terrible, and that's kind of how our journey started. Was him teaching me how to produce.
Amazing.
Yep.
Was it bootstrapped, or you guys? You mentioned early in the
Yep.
conversation that you guys raised some money. So
Yep.
tell us about that. Not
So we
do.
bootstrapped
Yeah.
the first 6 to 7 months, and then once we were not able to continue bootstrapping the company, as you can imagine, things get pretty expensive. So we've raised from First Check Ventures and then a bunch of angels and strategic, investors in the space. We've raised close to 700,000 at this point.
Wow. Amazing.
We've talked
Is
to,
that a pre-seed? That's a
yeah,
pre-seed
yep. So
or
this is,
seed?
yep, exactly. So this isn't a pre-seed. What's interesting is that we've talked to a lot of, some of the bigger VCs that have shown a lot of interest in Tuttii, but they just see licensing as a really big risk. So now that we've closed Spirit, and then we're signing LOIs with some of the majors, like binding term sheets to come on here pretty quickly. Some of these folks are coming back into the fold. So the idea is we'll continue to take checks for the next month or so, maybe a little bit longer. And then once we have enough firepower on the licensing side, go and target a seed, extend the runway, and try to launch this thing.
Amazing. So what's the target for the pre-seed? $1 million?
So right now it's 500,000, and we've raised about half of that. So we'd be willing to take probably another 250 to 300,000.
Amazing, amazing. Then you'll go, okay, well, that's great news, my friend. Absolutely. Anything new that we should be on the lookout for, or I would say some of the fans that will be joining Tuttii and using that platform and loving it. Anything new we should know about beside the launch coming up this summer or early this summer?
Yeah, I would say this. We have a Discord. There's not a ton of people in it yet, but we've started some efforts to kind of grow that community. So if this is, if you're a content creator, if you're a musician, there's still some time to make some pretty big improvements to the platform. If you want to see new features added or subtracted, you can get involved there, and we're quite active and responsive, and would love to have a conversation. But and if you have an iOS device, feel free to go test it out. But other than that, May is kind of the
big month,
the big target for us. Yep, exactly.
Great. Well, if somebody wants to invest, for our listeners, some of them could be investors beside fans, yes. And so you're only looking for investors, you're looking for mentors, advisors, board of directors, and how can they get a hold of you? LinkedIn, the same way we came across each other?
LinkedIn works great. My email, is that something I can?
Yes, it's all about you here. It's all about you.
Yeah, exactly. So my email is Duke, DUKE at Tuttii, TUTTII.io. A lot of people miss, all of the I's, so make sure they're all in there. Feel free to reach out to me there or on LinkedIn. Absolutely no problem. Definitely interested investors, probably our top priority at this point. I would also say, mentors and coaches, strategic, execs in the space that are interested, please reach out as well. I think we're working with some pretty incredible people, but you can never have enough firepower support in your corner. So we'd love to have that conversation as well.
Amazing, really amazing, Duke. Quick advice for young entrepreneurs as yourself and your partner who want to get involved, want to create something, see some opportunities, afraid to take the first step, as somebody who's been through it. So please, just an advice.
Totally. I would say the biggest thing is you don't need to spend money to work on something. So you can talk to people, you can ideate and prototype, find ways that are free. I'm holding up my quotations here, to get people interested in an idea. And I would say work towards that before you get stressed out over, money and the long runway and all the wonderful things that you have to do. Get people excited, and then you have something, and then you can build from there.
What a great advice. You don't need money to get something started. As they say, like Nike, just do it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Amazing.
And also, don't be afraid to ask for advice. There's people out there that are really smart, and you can learn a lot from them.
Yes, Tuttii.io, TUTTII.io. Absolutely.
That's right.
Duke Moran, he's available. Love the idea. Would love to, even myself, to be part of it. I think this is the future, and that's where a lot of artists are going to be generating more. Creators becoming the new stars, the new, not just the users, they are themselves the new artists. Absolutely.
That's right.
Duke,
thanks for having me on.
It was a pleasure having you today on today's episode at Pitch Your Startup. Thank you for our listeners. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social. Till next time, as Duke does, think out of the box and don't be afraid. Just do it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.